Welcome, everyone. Welcome, everyone. I just wanted to take a moment to actually a moment of silence. I know we, as you all know, this past weekend there was an attempt on the life of a servant, our 45th president. So I just wanted to take a moment for a moment of silence of the gentleman who passed as a result of that horrible event. His name was Corey Comfort. He was a father from Pennsylvania. So just a moment of silence for that. Okay. Thank you. And then I just wanted to adequate notice of this meeting of the Lawrence Township Council being held on Tuesday, July 16, 2024, has been provided through the posting of the annual meeting schedule of said council in accordance with Section 13 of the Open Public Meetings Act. Said notice was forwarded to the Trentonian, the Times, and the Princeton Packet on December 11, 2023. We will now have an inspiration from our clerk.
May we carry out our work at this meeting in a just, honorable, and sincere manner, always bearing in mind our duties and continuing to keep Lawrence a wonderful community in which to live. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk, we can have the roll call, please.
Mr. Bobbitt?
Here.
Mr. Kanaki?
Here.
Ms. Perry? Here. Mr. Ryan sends his regrets he cannot be with us due to personal reasons. Mayor Farmer?
Here. Okay. Do we have any special proclamations, recognitions, or presentations? No? Okay. That brings us to the first opportunity for public participation. There is a 5-minute limitation. I ask that you sign in and state your name.
I signed in already.
Okay, then you can come forward and just state your name when you come to the vote.
Like just right here? Or
Oh, right there.
Oh, okay. I never did this before.
Okay, yeah, in the record.
My name is Barbara Gelhar, and I live in the village, E6 Park Place. Quick question, I hope the bulk trash situation. So we used to get bulk trash pickup every week, and now we're only getting it once a month. And not only that, we can't put out more items, like there's a weight limit. I just wanted to know why, because I know you're getting more funding through the cannabis tax, right? So I'm just interested to know why that change happened, why we're getting less services.
Manager, did you want to address it?
Sure. Well, this was as a part of the budget process and part of our waste disposal contract. As you know, our waste disposal contract is not done by Public Works. It's outsourced. There's a bidding process, and we had one bidder bid on the collection of our waste and bulk waste. The bid that came in was significantly higher than we anticipated and that the budget could contain, and we made the decision in order to keep bulk trash as a pickup, we had to reduce it from what it was to once a month, 12 times a year.
Is there like any
We
alternative?
can come back to the
Sorry,
record.
real quick.
That one picks up in your record.
Sorry. Is there any alternative now for people who have bulk trash who need it picked up? Or, I mean,
As a municipal service paid through taxes, not at this time, but we are exploring, the Public Works Director is exploring to find an area that we could collect bulk people could drop off bulk trash.
Okay, so that's not an option yet, but you're.
It's not an option right now. We are exploring it, yes.
Okay, thank you very much.
So, my name is Chantel Wooten. I live at 361 Edwards Crossing Road, and I'm going to read to you the white paper, ensuring the future of the Lawrence Community Center belongs to the Lawrence community. Just a brief intro about that cute little center that was built many years ago. I was one of many family members who really benefited from my family having a say in what goes on in that community center. So, the white paper, ensuring the future of the Lawrence Community Center belongs to the Lawrence community. The executive summary reads, the Lawrence Community Center has been a cornerstone of the Lawrence Edwards Crossing community since its inception. Originally initiated by the community, the center has played a vital role in fostering unity, addressing socioeconomic challenges, and promoting inclusive development. As Homefront Incorporated ceases its administration of the Lawrence Community Center, it is imperative that the future governance and operation of the center remain closely tied to the community it has long served. This white paper argues for the active involvement of the full Lawrence community in the Lawrence Community Center's future and presents a case for why the center should remain an asset governed by the engagement of the entire community rather than solely by the township government. The historical significance of this center. The need for a community center in the Edwards Crossing area was identified early on by local leaders and residents. Reverend Dana Farron, pastor of the Presbyterian Church of Lawrenceville and the Edwards Crossing Civic League Association, spearheaded the effort while the Lawrence Lions Club purchased land for the center. These leadership organizations and others realized the community center's potential as a meeting place for community and political education, culture, and athletics. This vision was shared across the community, emphasizing the importance of a space where people could feel comfortable and connected. Community action and development. In 1965, the Lawrence Community Action Council, known as LCAC, was called for its first meeting by Mayor Charles Connell at Lawrence Municipal Building, right here. Numerous community and religious organizations were notified of this meeting. Some of the initial attendees were Councilman Herman Hassler, Reverend Dana Farron, Presbyterian Church of Lawrenceville, Reverend Norman Kent, Lawrence Road Presbyterian Church, Reverend C.J. Carter and Moses Underwood, First Baptist Church of Edwards Crossing, Ralph Simmons, and Joan Rowland, local synagogue Fred Vereen Jr., and Willie Mitchell, Edwards Crossing Civic League, Aaron S. Biddle, Lawrence YMCA, Sarah Dean and Joan Goodman, League of Women Voters, and a number of other people were in attendance. After Mayor Connell explained the function of the CAC, the first order of business, he appointed Councilman Herman Hassler as temporary chairman. The next meeting, held at the FBC, which was the First Baptist Church of Edwards Crossing, Ralph Simmons was elected as chairman of LCAC. After many meetings, a clear purpose for the Lawrence Community Center was established, which was to provide a hub for a concerted services program that would directly involve the disadvantaged. The initiative saw various community groups collaborating to plan and implement programs at the center, highlighting the effectiveness of community-driven governance and operation. Some challenges we overcame. The establishment of the center was not without challenges, from identifying a suitable location to rehabilitating a dilapidated building. The community demonstrated resilience and resourcefulness. Local residents, including youth from the neighborhood, Youth Corps participated in the rehabilitation efforts, transforming the center into a functional space despite several initial conditions. The long-term commitment and impact it had was immediately and profound. It became a place where residents could access essential services, engage in social and recreational activities, and foster a sense of community. In addition, the center provided a space for community-minded volunteers to make a positive impact on those who needed services. The successful establishment and operation of the center under community leadership underscored the importance of local involvement in its governance and future direction.
I'll read the second half. If anybody wants a copy of it, any audience members, we have about 20 of them. Martha Friend, 976 Lawrenceville Road. And the reason we're reading this into record is we want it read into record. Mr. Green wrote this, shared it with many of us, shared with you, but we wanted to try using up my time. The need for community governance. The legacy of the Lawrence Community Center is one of community-driven progress and social cohesion. As the township government plans to take charge of its operations and initiate necessary renovations, it's crucial to ensure that the community's voice is integral to the center's future. Establishing a community advisory board or committee akin to other township boards and committees can provide a structured platform for this involvement. The socioeconomic landscape of Lawrence Township has changed significantly since the center's inception. However, the need for a communal space that fosters interaction, understanding, and collaborative action remains. The Lawrence Community Center, with the right leadership and community involvement, can continue to address contemporary issues and support the diverse population of Lawrence Township. Despite the township's diversity, genuine social integration occurs sporadically, such as during school events or sports events. A community-led Lawrence Community Center can serve as a continuous and consistent venue for fostering deeper connections among residents of different backgrounds, thereby enhancing mutual understanding and cooperation. There are four recommendations in this white paper. First, establish a community advisory board. Form a board comprising community members to oversee the center's operations, ensuring that decisions reflect the community's needs and aspirations. 2, inclusive renovation planning. Engage community members in the planning and execution of renovation projects to ensure the upgraded facilities meet their needs and preferences. 3, enhance programming. Develop and implement programs that address current socioeconomic challenges while promoting cultural exchange and social integration. And 4, ongoing community engagement. Facilitate regular town hall meetings and feedback sessions to maintain open lines of communication between the community and the center's administration. And in conclusion, the Lawrence Community Center has a rich history of fostering community development and social integration. As we look to its future, it is essential to honor this legacy by ensuring that the Eggers Crossing community and the Lawrence community at large remain at the heart of the center's governance and operations. By doing so, we can ensure that the Lawrence Community Center continues to be a vibrant and inclusive space that addresses the evolving needs of Lawrence Township's diverse population. And if you agree, members at home, folks in the audience, if you agree with the importance of community involvement in the future of the Lawrence Community Center, or if you have additional thoughts, please reach out to our manager and our council. And we should say that this was authored by Mr. Fred Green Jr., maybe you said this, and it was edited by Chris Woolley and Jim McGrath. Thank you.
Evening, council, and manager, and folks. Thank you for the opportunity for having us, letting us talk about the community center. The two ladies dwelt on the white paper. I have something I'd just like to share with you two things I'd like to share with you that I found. And one thing is local civic engagement benefits. And it tells about the value of local city civic engagement. Local civic engagement stands as a cornerstone of vibrant and thriving communities. This engagement encompasses a wide range of activities, from participating in local government meetings to volunteering in community service projects. And it is fundamental to the health of democratic societies. The value of local civic engagement cannot be overstated, as it also empowers citizens, promotes transparency, accountability, and enriches the democratic process. At the heart of local engagement is the creation of a sense of community. When individuals participate in local activities, they build relationships with their neighbors, fostering trust and mutual respect. This interaction helps break down social barriers, allowing diverse groups to come together and collaborate towards common goals. Events like town hall meetings, local cultural festivals, national night outs in different local communities each year. These and other activities provide for forums for residents to connect and engage with one another, strengthening the social fabric of the community. Aside from meeting other needs, the center can play a tremendous role in this engagement. I found something else in my office. I always save stuff. And I found an article from the New York Times, Sunday, March 21st, 2004. And it says, if you're thinking of living in Lawrence Township, New Jersey, where there's peace, quiet, and community involvement. This dates back to 2004, and it's got pictures of houses. I mean, of course, they were much cheaper back then. But I just want to read a paragraph. There's two parts of that. That's how big they wrote about Lawrence Township. But I just want to read a paragraph that tunes into what we're saying. A paragraph taken from the article. Lawrence has a diverse population which includes Eastern Europeans, Indians, Asians, and Hispanics. On its southern border is Eggers Crossing Village, a low-income housing development built in the 60s. The township is being served by its first Black mayor, Mark W. Holmes. Lawrence prides in its diversity and active participation of its citizens in community life, sets it apart from the typical homogeneous suburb. Mayor, council, and manager, may I suggest to you tonight that you do what Charles Connell did back in 1965. That's included in the white paper. You can see and witness the results of what he did by calling groups of people from throughout the township. I mean, you can see what it did for Eggers Crossing. You can see what it did for, we built 100 units of low moderate income housing. We moved people out of substandard housing. The tax base that comes from Eggers Crossing is about 10 times or 15 times from what it was when I grew up there as a kid in the late 40s and 50s. So all I'm doing is suggesting to council and the manager that you try to follow the road of what happened in 1965, what Mayor Connell did. And get a group of us together from throughout the township to make a decision at what happens at the center. That's all we're asking. And, you know, it might take time, but if it reaps the benefit of what happens from 1965, not only will we be satisfied, but I'm quite sure we'll be really happy and enjoy it, and our children will be blessed by it. Thank you. I don't need no applause.
Anyway.
Thank you, Mr. Lynn.
Mayor, since there's a little pause, and I don't see anyone running up, I'll just say that I remember that article very well as someone who was living in San Francisco at the time, and so that's how you ended up with me here today.
I thought it was familiar.
Max, did you sign it?
Yes.
Sorry, that's not your fault.
Good evening. My name is Max, and I recently went down to a school.
Could you just say your first, last name, please?
My name is Max Schrager. I live at 10 Dix Lane. As I said, I went to a school called the School for Ethics and Global Leadership in DC, where I started what's known as a social venture project. A social venture project is a goal you set to try to solve a problem you see in your community. And knowing me, I obviously chose a big problem that I saw, and that problem is political polarization and the lack of political participation within Lawrenceville, within New Jersey, within the entire world. So to solve this problem, I chose to pursue election reform by way of ranked choice voting or RCV. I recently spoke to Mayor Farmer about introducing RCV to Lawrence Township, and I wanted to propose the idea to the rest of the council and to all of Lawrence Township itself. So ranked choice voting is simple. Voters rank their choices, one being their first choice, two being their second choice, and so on. If their fourth choice does not receive enough votes, then their vote automatically goes to their second choice, and then it repeats. The candidate that receives more than 50% after any round wins. Voters can rank one candidate, or they can rank all the candidates, however they like. As I explained to Mayor Farmer, RCV is better not because it changes the outcomes of elections, but because it changes the culture around elections. I use this example to explain why. Say you're a candidate and you're knocking on doors. You come up to a house with a sign for a political rival on their lawn. It seems useless to go up to their door knowing that they will vote for your rival. But in the system using RCV, you go up to that house and knock on that door and you try to become their second choice. Instead of not engaging in dialogue with those who have different viewpoints, you engage with them. Instead of describing why you are better than your rival, you try to describe how you are similar to your rival and why you should be their voter's second choice. In addition, a voter feels like they actually want to participate because in RCV elections, there are usually multiple candidates and they don't have to vote for the better of two evils, and they can decide how exactly their vote will be casted. I have been working with this nonprofit known as Voter Choice NJ, who tells me that people feel like they have voted for the first time after an RCV election, and they ask why RCV hasn't been a thing previously. For this reason, ranked choice voting has started to grow all over the country, whether federally in Maine or Alaska, or the hundreds of municipalities across the country. In New Jersey, though, RCV is not allowed right now, but there are currently bills in both houses of the state legislature to permit the use of RCV for municipal and school board elections. Senators Ricker and Senator Greenstein are the principal sponsors of the bill in the Senate, Senator John Allen of Hoboken in the Assembly. What I'm asking from the council is to pass a trigger ordinance that allows for the voters to decide if they want RCV by way of referendum. This referendum will be triggered immediately after the law allowing RCV is passed in the state. Another side effect of this trigger ordinance is that it is telling the state legislature that the municipalities are open to RCV. These trigger ordinances have been passed in Jersey City, for example, and I want Lawrence Township to be next. I would love to work with all of you in the coming weeks and months to get an ordinance like this passed. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Definitely one way of getting our young people involved, which I think is very important. And thank you. Anything else? Seeing none, is there any additional comments? Okay, seeing none, we'll close public participation.
Mayor?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Since we have people here that are interested in the community center,
Oh, yes.
we should just probably have a little conversation about it because September 30th is the date upon which Homefront is vacating that. And we have to decide what we're doing with it. We've had press releases that have come out, and the original thought was that we would take it back and utilize it as a neighborhood, as a recreational center with expanded programs, moving the recreation department over into that location, and then expand and enhance the programs of the recreation department. It seems as though that some people here passionately, which is great, see another vision for the community center to make it a different type of community center, and that's completely fine. It's within your realm as policy to figure that out. I would need to know, you need to provide me with some directions on how we pursue this and how we break it down. Certainly, the recreation department cannot, as it presently exists, go and run a community center and the recreational program as it presently exists. So the proposal would, I think, only feasibly be able to be done if the recreation department remains as it presently exists and a community center is operated in some manner. It was previously by Homefront, which was a nonprofit organization, and the township contributed, I think it was $100,000 a year by statute to help fund that. This would be a whole different thing if the township has now taken it on the financial and fiscal responsibility to operate a community center, which will require employees, day and night and programming and things like that. All good. That's why you guys get paid the big bucks to figure this all out. But the conversation has to happen sooner rather than later, because we're going to get to September 30th. We did discuss, and we had an idea of the renovations that need to be done in order to give that place the respect it deserves and the people that occupy it. And there was going to be a plan in place to get that done so we could reopen the facility sooner rather than later. So if at some point in time you guys can get together and devise what you think is the right thing for our town to do, I am ready to do whatever your visions are in terms of meeting what the community is asking for you in this building. The recreational aspect was opening up that building to the entire community, and I think there's a belief that the community center could reach that goal, and I can certainly support that. For years, it was a center that was located in a portion of our community, and it was not utilized by, or even thought to be. Not that it was precluded, but so we have an opportunity to expand this. And so it's just, I want that conversation to continue and to get heightened as the days churn into weeks and the weeks churn into months.
Yeah, thank you for that, Mr. Nowinski. Let's also give just some background, because we have had discussions, you and I, and this is an opportunity for all of council to provide some input and feedback. What I'm hearing from the community or from the white paper what was presented, the community is in favor of the township and the recreation department being a part of the center. What I'm hearing is that they would just like an opportunity to provide some input into what types of activities are held at the center. Working together with the township, not as a separate entity.
Oh, okay. So I didn't hear that. I didn't hear that because if we can't have a recreational superintendent be told by a committee as to what to do and how to do it, that's not a function that can happen.
No, and
without problem.
Right, and what the responsibility of the council is to hear the concerns of the community.
Sure.
And those concerns that are related to yourself, to the town manager, you're a part of the process. And then the recreation department is what you manage thereafter.
And I know if Nancy Bergen, if she were here, she would say, her ears are always open
Right.
to ideas from the residents. I mean, her recreation department is based upon the feedback from the community and determining which programs are embraced, which programs aren't. And so that happens.
Exactly.
So
Yeah, so that's what I'm hearing. In addition to, we have community aid, let's say, that is part of our administration, but of our township, that plays a role in communication. And there could potentially be opportunities for, to look at the structure and see where we can make improvements to assist the center. I'm going to let Councilman Bobbitt have the floor. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor. May I suggest that council thinks about setting up an ad hoc committee consisting of the mayor, Councilman Kanaki, who's the recreation committee liaison, as well as Nancy Bergen and township manager, and some community members as well. And then you could,
Come back to the council. That is absolutely
Can I
great.
say something?
We've closed public comment.
Okay.
So just to be in order, there will be another opportunity for you to make a comment. That is a very good recommendation, Councilman Bobbitt. And it's something, that we could definitely consider. Councilman Kanaki, is that something that you would entertain? Okay. And that could assist with the process. Okay. So I think we could move in that direction and work with Mr. Nowinski and the superintendent of recreation and a couple of members in the community.
to be clear,
Yeah.
you five, you're the elected officials, the voice of the residents, and I am at your command as to what to do. And I will, offer an opinion along the way if asked, but this is definitely a policy situation that will shift how things are done, and I want to make sure I am not treading on that.
Yeah, I don't know, maybe I'm imagining our existing recreation department does an outstanding job of providing services to our community. Like Nancy has said in the past, there are a lot of things that she's already doing that will only enhance what we do here in the township. And in the process, I was going to update later with the master plan. One of the biggest things that have come out of that the community is asking for is recreation. They want more of recreation and a lot of activities that are currently being done. And also, there's a lot of talk about community in the sense of belonging and having a place where people can come and have, opportunities with one another, which again, opens communication and deals with a lot of the issues that are happening in society today. So I see it as a positive and opportunity just to enhance an already fabulous recreation department that we have present. Very strong. So we will come together with the members of council and Mr. Nowinski and the superintendent and appoint some members from the community to work with us in reviewing the moving forward of the center. And as is already been said, the home front will be moving out of the center in September. The center will be closed for improvements and renovations for about a 6-month period or 4-month period.
Well, that was the initial plan. So,
Okay.
yeah.
So-
And I think that the improvements, will universally be agreed upon in terms of what we need to do, for sure.
Absolutely. So that will give us time to come together and I think we can get some good work done during that time. And then we will report back to, at our next council meeting with some more definitive information so that the community is aware of the steps that we're taking.
And just so the community is aware, you and I met with Mr. Vereen and Ms. Bergen, and Ms. Bergen indicated to me that probably by later next week, she'll have a proposed program that could be run from that location by the recreation department, and that's something that we could share.
Can I respond?
Oh,
Just a couple minutes.
Yeah.
I think I should let her
Yes.
respond.
You're Mr. Okay. No.
Yeah.
Look at still.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Come, you may come forward. Come forward.
When you're 90, that's what
Excuse me, but is the manager's mic on? Because it's a little hard to hear.
I'll talk louder, I'm sorry.
Oh,
Thank you.
Okay.
You know, the white paper doesn't mean anything to you guys. What we asked in the white paper was to do what Mayor Connell did in 65. And that's what was to call a group of people from throughout the township to discuss what is to happen with you. Recreation, you know, recreation is just like every year we have an ecumenical service. The churches come together. It's really not an ecumenical service because there's not the total community involved, the churches and the synagogues and whatnot. It's the same way with recreation. The recreation does not encompass all of the community.
So that is why we have, as a council, decided to create a committee or a mayor's ad hoc committee to discuss and to include members of the community.
Okay, but that just don't have me and one or two other. Let's get some other folks involved with this committee, community people. Let's get some of them involved also to see what they have to say.
Absolutely. Well, if you would like to send some names to us, we're more than happy to consider
Okay,
those individuals.
thank you.
Good. Did you want to say something?
I was just gonna say that my thought on an ad hoc committee was that it would be more than say Mr. Vereen, that it was going to try to do outreach, but that was gonna be on us. And that was gonna be something that we would not do during this meeting. But no, I heard you loud and clear about reaching out to the community. Because I think there's enough variety throughout this township from north to south and east to west that all those voices need to be heard. So,
Right. Good.
no, I hear you. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, we are going to now move forward on the agenda. Unless there are any other comments though from council. All right. So just, okay. Next, revision or review agenda, we're fine there. There aren't any changes there.
No changes.
Okay. Next is the adoption of minutes from our previous meeting, which was regular meeting February 6, 2024. We're looking at the minutes from that. Do I have a motion on board to approve the minutes?
I'll move to adopt the minutes of the regular meeting of, my apologies. I move to adopt the regular minutes of the regular meeting of February 6, 2024.
I second the motion.
Madam Clerk, if you could call the roll, please.
Mr. Bobbitt,
Yes.
Mr. Kaneki,
Yes.
Ms. Perry,
Yes.
Mayor Farmer.
Yes. Okay. Next, we have the awarding and rejecting of bids.
Mayor, I'll move 9A 249, authorizing a contract for the rehabilitation of 979 Mulberry Street.
Okay. Is there any public comment?
We need a second.
Do I have a second?
I second.
Manager?
This is a part of our affordable housing rehabilitation program. Can you hear? Is it? And it awards a bid to Master Build and Design in the amount of $25,775 for a qualifying residence.
Do you have any questions? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, if you call the roll, please.
Mr. Bobbitt.
Yes.
Mr. Kaneki.
Yes.
Ms. Perry.
Yes.
Mayor Farmer.
Yes.
Mayor, I'll move 9B, number 250, authorizing a contract for the rehabilitation of 868 Spruce Street.
You have a second?
Second.
I second.
Again, this is under our Affordable Housing Rehabilitation Program. It authorizes the awarding of a bid to Unlimited Builders Construction LLC to rehabilitate a qualifying property for $28,500.
Is there any questions from the public? Seeing none, Madam Clerk?
Mr. Bobbitt.
Yes.
Mr. Kaneki.
Yes.
Ms. Perry.
Yes.
Mayor Farmer.
Yes. Introduction of ordinances.
Mayor, I'll introduce 10A, ordinance number 2475-24, ordinance amending ordinance 2394-21 by the Township of Lawrence, County of Mercer, State of New Jersey, in order to revise the description of the improvement herein.
Do you have a second?
I second.
This is importantly not an expenditure of additional municipal funds. It's an amendment to modify the description of anticipated work to improve the municipal parking lot. This is necessary to comply with the New Jersey budget law.
Madam Clerk, if you could call the roll, please.
Mr. Bobbitt.
Yes.
Mr. Kaneki.
Yes.
Ms. Perry.
Yes.
Mayor Farmer.
Yes. Okay, adoption of ordinances.
Mayor, I'll introduce 11A, ordinance number 2473-24, and ordinance amending ordinance number 2464-24, salary ordinance of the Township of Lawrence, unclassified and/or exempt seasonal emergency, non-union employees for 2023-2025, amending Schedule B, grade 4, years 2024 and 2025, condensing from 11 steps to 6 steps.
Do you have a second, Mr. Kaneki?
Second.
Yes, this amendment is solely to condense the salary guide for the salary for the municipal judge from 11 steps to 6 steps to address the significant decrease in cases handled by the municipal court. It provides a more appropriate salary guide for the municipal judge at this time.
And we've discussed this in
Yeah.
previous meetings, so, okay. Are there any questions from the public? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, if you could call the roll, please.
Mr. Bobbitt.
Yes.
Mr. Kaneki.
Yes.
Ms. Perry.
Yes.
Mayor Farmer.
Yes.
I'll move 11B, ordinance number 2473-24, and ordinance amending Chapter 83 of the Lawrence Township Administrative Code entitled Alcoholic Beverages, Hotel Motel Exception.
Second.
You have a second? Okay.
If approved, this would issue a license to JSK Princeton LLC, who operates the Red Roof Inn, since it meets the mandated requirements for an alcohol beverage control license type 36 for a hotel motel with 100 sleeping rooms or more.
Are there any questions from the public? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, if you could call the roll, please.
Mr. Bobbitt.
Yes.
Mr. Kaneki.
Yes.
Ms. Perry.
Yes.
Mayor Farmer.
Yes. Thank you. Okay, now this brings us to the manager's report.
At this point, very briefly, we are monitoring Hero Park, the dog park off of Ohio Avenue, to try and get it to a situation where we can open it and that we don't have to ever kind of shut it down because the grass is not keeping. So we're close. We've essentially completed all of the improvements to the dog park area. So we are hoping, and I'm blaming this all on Nancy Bergen, I'm kidding,
Yeah.
for a mid to late August opening.
Yeah.
So we're close.
Yeah, I rode by there today, actually, to check that. That's good. That's okay.
And that's all.
That's okay. All right. Attorney, okay, Mr. Sypak.
Yes, we have some matters which we're going to discuss in executive session, Mayor.
Okay. And Madam Clerk.
You have before you the ELSA application that we've tabled a few times. We did receive the letter from ELSA about the clearing we had at the last meeting. We talked about the arborist, and they have provided us the letter
Oh, good.
for that. So you can decide if you want, along with our attorney, If you want language included, or is the letter just good enough and we'll put it on the August 20th meeting?
Okay,
Okay,
thank you.
you're welcome.
Do you have any unfinished business to discuss?
Well, Mayor, I was going to ask about ELSA, but I see that Councilman Ryan, who's our ELSA liaison, isn't available, so. And from what I understand from Councilman Kanaki, that the last meeting wasn't very,
Today.
yeah, it wasn't too informative. So I was just wondering if
We heard nothing from DEP,
Okay.
all right? They're letting us hook up the houses, like I said last time, that's all. No projects are being hooked up. Nothing's getting done in Ewing. And Hopewell's everybody's on a standstill. DEP has not reached back out to us. All right, we're waiting for them to reach back out to us so that we can get the next meeting in order and see what I call the marching papers to say what they really want out of us. They haven't told us. We made suggestions to them. We gave them a 5-year plan because that's how long it will take to do the modifications at ELSA. I know we got a court case coming up. And I do know they said, even if the courts rule in favor of ELSA to move forward and the ban gets lifted, they will not lift the ban. It's their call. So if that happens, we'll be fighting that. But basically nothing. Bob Phil was on vacation. So there wasn't that much other than what our attorney told us. And nothing has changed since the last meeting.
So yeah, Mayor, I just brought that up because I'm starting to get concerned that it's July now. It seems as if, I saw the letter that you had sent to the county executive, and it just, I have my concerns. So it'd be nice to have this resolved so we can get back to business as usual.
Yes. Okay. Thank you for that report. New business. Mr. Nowinski and I, we met with an arts representative or expert. I don't know, I'm not saying that correctly.
We met with a resident who wanted us to explore the issue of creating a Lawrence Township Arts Foundation.
Or commission, yes.
Commission that we had at one time in our history, that I think was a 501c nonprofit that disbanded, I think. I don't know, I don't recall the reasons why. But she met with us and promoting the idea that we explore this issue of promoting the arts in a way that we have other committees empaneled to promote other things. So we agreed that we would bring this up to council under new business. And if there was a consensus to at least explore what that could look like, I could work with Mr. Sipek and explore whether or not it becomes a committee within our ordinance, maybe, within our structure, or it becomes something else.
Yeah.
What we have to keep in mind is our ability to fund this arts council with grants. And that's the reason why a lot of our surrounding communities like Princeton, they are independent nonprofits that operate in conjunction with municipal government to better enhance their opportunities to get grant funding. So this is the kickoff to the discussion, and we can start to get information and provide it to you for further consideration.
There, I'd just like to ask what the ask was from this person in terms of what were they looking for, as the manager stated, sort of grant funding opportunities? Was it sort of to be a sort of give an overview of all the arts that are happening within the township, from Ryder to Lawrenceville to the Lawrence Public School District and private entities? How was that?
The ask was more, and I'm sorry, her name was Ms. Dr. Guerrero, if I believe correctly.
Yes.
Yes, and she is a consultant that works with many municipalities with arts education and various entities. And what the ask was about creating potentially a commission in Lawrence, like an arts council type of commission. So that it would enhance all of the arts in Lawrence. So as you mentioned, we have many current institutions that have strong arts programs as well. But there are members in the community who, and myself included, who are interested in enhancing our arts visibility in Lawrence Township and including members of the community in potentially a commission, like we've had in the past, or, going forward, creating something new, or even looking at enhancing maybe an existing committee that we have, and adding to it.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see how our neighbors to the north in Princeton, how the municipality, because they don't want to be called a borough anymore, how the municipality of Princeton interacts with the Arts Council of Princeton and what that looks like and how they interact with the Princeton Public Schools and other entities. So that, I think that would be probably a natural place to start. But
Looking at funding opportunities, but depending on what structure we determine, whether it's a commission or a council, we would want to be able to apply for, arts grants and things of that nature. So we would need to look within our structure how we would go about doing that.
And just to supplement, she could not be here tonight. She wanted to be, she couldn't be here tonight. We can certainly ask her if her schedule permits to come and present at the next meeting, so she can advocate for herself, but this literally was her saying, hey, Lawrence, you should have something related to the arts, and this is a way to do it.
And I apologize, there is a one-sheeter fact sheet that I meant to share with council. I'll make sure that you get that. That will explain in more detail. Make sure you get that, all of you. Okay. Anything else for new business? Okay. This brings us now to the next opportunity for public participation. It's a 3-minute limit this time around. You come forward.
You want me to stay here or?
No, you have to come to the mic so that you go on record.
Okay.
And just sign in at the sheet here. And state your name and your address.
Good evening, my name is Ziggy Sesney. I live in 55 plus community on 194 Point Court in Lawrenceville. My question is about, public works. 3 weeks ago, they crushed my, garbage can, which one was the medium size 65 gallon. And I called the public works, asked for another can. They give me small one, which one is too small for me. So they replaced and give me that giant 95 gallon, which one is too big for me. So I call again and again, and finally I get answer. They not to supply anymore 65 gallons cans. That's true. I was happy with that 65 gallon cans. Fits, fine, in my garage. I was happy, put, garbage in, this and that. Right now, I have to deal with that giant can, which one is not comfortable for me. And I would like to know if the Lawrence, Township gonna supply, public, work gonna supply that medium can, 65 gallon, or they just discontinue. Because, in my opinion, that 65 gallon medium sized can is so good, for so many people. So my question is, they discontinue or they gonna keep, supply 65 gallons, the medium size can?
Well, I can tell you, I don't think that the person that you spoke to on the phone lied to you. I think if the 65 gallon tank container was available, you would have it. I can certainly discuss with our Public Works Director about what's going on with the 65, because we had somebody coming in saying that hit the sweet spot for you.
Yes,
So we'll find out.
I was so happy with that 65 gallon can, but
Well, I mean, I'm sure there's gonna be a story as to why they're not available. I can't share it with you because I just don't know it off the top of my head, but if you were to leave your name and
Yeah,
number,
I already signed my
great,
name.
I will reach out to you and let you know what the.
And I was talking with Mr. Kurt, if I'm not mistaken. He said, they're supposed to supply like on the end of summer. I was talking to Miss Janice,
Yeah.
if I'm not mistaken. She said, no, they discontinued. I think that's not right, it's supposed to be, I think the 65-gallon can is, better than 95. 95-gallon, if somebody had, a lot of people in the family or any kind of business or so, that's, beautiful. But, for average people, 65 is perfect.
That works for you, so we'll see if we can get that done.
Okay, I'd be happy, if we bring the 65-gallon can back.
Okay.
All right.
Hello, I'm Sylvia Focus. I just would like to mention something that Mr. Vereen mentioned about bringing the national night out to different communities. I think that when it happens only here at the municipal building area, it limits attendance from other areas of the township with the parking issue and all of that. So I think that if that were possible to bring National Night Out to different communities at different times of the year, I think that would create much more of a community building. I'm sure someone's going to mention the master planning board report from yesterday. But just the numbers that were mentioned last night, that shows that we don't have that 2004 community that was back then, also together, working together and all of that. And I think that certain events, I know in my neighborhood, Colonial Heights, we have an area that was used to right across the street from the Hamnet Park and the Hero Park. That's hopefully soon will be open. There is an area where we could have something happening and it's on one block. We could block that off. There are different access to that neighborhood from different sides from Strawberry Street and then all the other little streets. So it wouldn't be a hindrance for anybody. Nobody lives on that one block. So that would be a great place to have a national night out and bring our community members together. So thank you for your time.
Thank you. There's that recreation desire that people want more.
I came, another embarrassing moment, I came here going to ask about traffic problems on East Sarah Lane, but then I had a senior moment and forgot all about it. And now, after all this talk, and I'm down to the 3 minutes, I'm gonna devote, that'll last another month. Now, I wanted to follow up on the Eggers Crossing Center issue, and now I'll really fault my ignorance. While I know that center has, always seemed to me, was mainly taken advantage of by people in the Eggers Crossing neighborhood. I also knew that it was always open to everybody, and I've been there many times. And now, what I mean by my ignorance is, I had no idea it was run by Homefront all these years. And I guess it sounds like we gave them just a thin stip and they financed it. It sounds like we gave them $100,000 and they ran it. And now they've got so many other fish to fry, they're leaving. I also didn't know it was in bad enough shape that's going to require all this. But the main thing is that, like you said, the clock is running. And if a decision has to be made by the 30th about what is going to be done, and I sort of second what Mr. Vereen and people said, that it would be, while I know it's been open to the general public, stop me if I'm wrong, but it's always been my impression that it's mainly been taken advantage of by the Acres Crossing neighborhood. And I think what Mr. Green was saying was that they advocate by having the recreation center located there, it would be more integrated, or whatever you want to say, which seems to me to be a good thing. So I guess I'm just kind of, I hope I'm agreeing with the people, the white people and all this, because if I am, I'm seconding the motion.
Thank you. The center was used by members of that union, but also beyond Lawrence Township. People from outside of Lawrence
Oh, I
Township
didn't know
also use the.
I just knew it was everybody in the township, but I had a feeling it was mostly that neighborhood that took advantage of it, and I thought that was important.
John Cavello, resident of Lawrenceville. I wanted to address or get the council to address matters. We're now in the 7th month of a couple of one issue that never really got resolved or reported back. Back in the previous council, the last 2 meetings in December, there were agenda items related to Faulkner Act matters. I see that at the last meeting, there were closed sessions for both those sessions of December 5th and December 19th. The minutes were on the agenda and adopted by the council. I know Mr. Sypek is at a bit of a disadvantage since he was not the town attorney at the time. But I'm wondering if there was ever a resolution of that matter, that now if you've adopted the minutes, is there something that can be reported to the public? Because a Faulkner Act violation under the council manager optional form of government we have here is a pretty serious matter. And we in the public deserve to know what happened, especially where public dollars expended. So I know it puts Mr. Sypek there at a bit of a disadvantage, but my question is simple. Is this something now that can be reported back to the public? Has the matter been fully adjudicated and resolved one way or another by the council?
Madam Mayor, if I may, I am familiar with the situation. I reviewed substantial documentation on it. I will say it is still a matter of discussion. Matter of fact, I think it's going to be in part of our executive session this evening. I'm hoping we're going to have a relatively quick resolution of that, but I don't think at this point we can add much more in terms of commentary until certain things are resolved involving that. And I understand your concern that this should come to the forefront to the citizens of Lawrence, but it is a little complicated, and we do have some issues that we're trying to resolve involving it. That's about the most general thing I can say. But it's not on the back burner. There's still things that are being looked at involving that.
So, Madam
Yes.
if I understand right, that it is still an active matter, and I guess my question is, why wasn't it docketed as such on the executive session for tonight? All I'm asking for is transparency as much as where this goes. I mean, this can only involve two sections of the fault plan, either 4069A-91 or sections 40-:69A-93. Would either be a matter of a matter being brought about a council member or a matter being brought about a violation by the municipal manager. At a certain point, this town and this public has a right to know what happened. These kinds of matters don't happen very often, and it's very unique in this kind of optional charter to have this kind of a matter even brought before it could go to something that would be adjudicated. So I appreciate Mr. Sypek's willingness to at least explain that, and obviously we'll be following and seeing where it goes from here.
Thank you, I understand your concern, and as soon as we can share something, we will. Seeing any additional comments, I will close public participation at this time. Moving on to resolutions.
Mayor, if it's all right with the rest of council, I'd like to move all the resolutions in block.
You good? Is council ready for that?
All right, I will move 18A1 through H8 in the block.
I second.
Madam Clerk, we have a motion and a second. If you could call the roll, please.
Mr. Bobbitt,
Yes.
Mr. Kaneki,
Yes.
Ms. Perry,
Yes.
Mayor Farman.
Yes. That brings us now to council initiatives and liaison reports.
Mayor, I'll start by saying that our Environmental Greening Advisory Committee continues to do work on sort of improving stream water quality, including those that run into the Shabakunk and eventually the Assunpink. They actually got a grant for some shoreline restoration in a small park off of, I believe, down by Glen Avenue. So they are moving along to some great stuff. And shade tree as well.
Madam Mayor, I would go next by discussing growth and redevelopment. The committee is looking at the mission and purpose of the committee and how it can best serve Lawrence Township going forward. So there's some analysis going on right now, and we will come before council very soon to give us our findings to see how we can continue to be relevant as far as supporting the businesses in the community, as well as hopefully recruiting and speaking to the manager about how to continue to grow new businesses in the community.
Mayor, if I could ask a question.
Yes.
Ms. Perry. Has there been any thought of looking at shrinking the size of the committee? I know it's grown over the years.
We just expanded, didn't we?
No, growth and redevelopment, I think.
Growth and redevelopment has several seats that are open that we're not looking to fill.
Yeah.
So, and I thought you knew this, that we weren't going to add more people on.
No, I was wondering if you were going to reduce the size of the committee.
From now, no, there has not been discussion. Going forward, after we do the analysis, if it makes sense, maybe. But all of the members, as you've known, because you've been part of it quite a bit, are very passionate about the group. So I wouldn't want to remove someone who is.
Oh, no.
really-
No, don't misconstrue, and I hope the public doesn't misconstrue. As someone who's been involved for quite a bit of time, I know that over the years, the sort of Brunswick Boulevard redevelopment group had been thrown into the growth and redevelopment, and so it had grown to, I think, a committee of 17.
Yeah, no,
And
we're
so, and we have,
9.
people added from all over the place. So that's what I was wondering, because
Yeah.
17 is a lot of people to try to fill, so.
Too many.
And I
cooks
don't
in
think
the
I
kitchen.
ever filled it, so if you can do that, God bless.
Thank you for your, no, we are really looking at maintaining right now because we have a very strong group that are very passionate to make sure that we service the community properly. So that's on the good news. So my favorite subject,
Can I just add that we have three, ribbon cutting coming up, which is quite exciting.
Yes.
For new businesses in the township, that there are three, scheduled very close together in the next few weeks. So I
Yes.
just wanted to put that out.
And just to highlight, the first one is this Saturday at the former Café du Pont, which is a new, there's a new bakery opening up. And I'm gonna butcher the name, it's Ballario. The opening will be on Saturday at 11 a.m. down in the Lawrence Shopping Center. So that would be, please come out and enjoy. I'm so glad that they were able to buy the business and keep it going. Because it's a great part of, again, great part of the community. Saturday mornings, you get there, coffee, that's one of the stops. So that's what makes our town so great. You know, yes, we may love our Starbucks, but we don't have to always go there. I love Wawa. Just to follow up on the public safety subcommittee and what we've been looking at, we've now had our third meeting and we are diligently looking at all the aspects that are necessary to make sure that first and foremost, that the community is protected and served to the level that it should be. So I know there was the report about consolidation. There was an article that we had made a decision. None of that is concluded. The board has not made any decisions moving forward concerning consolidations. Once the subcommittee has completed reviewing all the necessary steps to making sure that, number one, the safety of the community is being addressed, we will present findings to you. Now, we did give the town manager some recommendations, not directions, just recommendations. And at the next meeting, I will review those with you. I have to review them with my fellow colleagues as well. The one thing I would say that we did review is that the rich history of volunteer firemen in our community has taken a little toll. There has been less and less volunteers volunteering, but we do know that it's an important element of our public safety component. And we have suggested and made a recommendation that the volunteers be consolidated so that it would be more efficient, that all equipment that is needed, all personnel that would be needed would be in one location to best serve the community. So the volunteers were asked if they would consider coming, not forcefully, if they would like to, all out of the Lawrence Road facility. So just so that you understand this, is that sometimes we have volunteers at Slackwood, we have volunteers at Lawrenceville, we have volunteers at Lawrence Road. Once in a while, there could be volunteers there and no driver. So then what? It is more efficient going forward that we would consolidate them all to one location. There is nothing else that we're doing but asking them to voluntarily all go to one location for efficiency. So I wanted this to be made public and for everyone to understand, we're not changing, we're not forcing, it's just a suggestion. Mr. Manager, did I leave anything out?
No.
You did visit, if you want to say, just wanted to add that Councilwoman and myself did have an opportunity to actually visit the fire stations. We were able to visit Lawrence Road and the Lawrenceville Fire Station. We are looking to visit the Slagwood in the near future as well, so that we could see with our very own eyes the actual facilities that we're making a decision on.
So as I mentioned before, there were a few other recommendations that we did make to the manager that I will review with my colleagues. And after they have knowledge of it, then we will present it at our next meeting on August 20th.
Mayor, can I ask, it sounds like these decisions have already been made and sort of.
No.
So
The the one decision, and I will explain during closed session, the one decision had intimate need, and that's why it had to move forward.
With the, you
With the-
consult
with the
with
consult-
manager and.
This was not, it was a voluntary thing. If you would like to, if you are okay with it. So there was no force, no whatever, it was a suggestion made.
I would just state that from my personal perspective, it would appear that either yourself or the mayor are making policy decisions without the sort of full consent of council. And that concerns me, because to send something to the township manager and not even do the rest of council the courtesy of sharing that
Mr. Bobbitt,
information.
I agree.
And
The
so I
look
don't
of this-
even know what a concerning emergent
Can I
issue
finish my
is.
statement for a
Let me
second?
finish first myself, please. Apparently there's an emergency situation that need to be resolved immediately, in which members of council have no clue about. That concerns me. It concerns me that you would not share that with council. That's trouble. I'll leave it at that.
Madam Mayor, may I?
Yes, you may.
It was my desire to share it with council at the previous meeting, but was not able to. And it was my desire to contact and explain and go over everything at the previous meeting, but was not able to. It was my desire for us to have a separate meeting, but we were not able to. So this was the one thing that is a suggestion, a voluntary thing. It is not policy, it's not anything but that, a suggestion. Anything that has a firm decision comes from the manager, and I will present before all of you to decide. I did not decide this. None of us decided this. So until respectfully you hear the whole story at closed session, could you wait till closed session?
I'll just say that
Yeah, what she is saying is that no policy decision has been made.
No policy decision has been made.
No. As we do not interject ourselves into.
Mayor, I'll ask this. I would hope in the future that we go in an open and transparent way with council about these issues. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'd like to say something,
Thank you.
Please, Mr. Manager.
and this is to assure Mr. Bobbitt. I take my role extremely seriously. I also respect our form of government, like you know, hyper respected, right? The municipal manager has a lot of powers in terms of providing the municipal government and the services to the community. This board has to act as a board and direct me on policy issues. There will never be a time when a single council person I will listen to their direction on how best to run a department. That's just not gonna happen. And you know that of me over the 7 or 8 years. So if there was a situation that I believed required all of you to know, I would have told you. I'm trying to work, listen, I told Councilwoman Perry, she put herself right in the center of this to lead us through this, and I respect her completely for it. And I'm trying to figure out a way where we can coexist, navigate, and make the best decisions for the municipal government and public safety interests. But I'm never going to accede what I believe is the right thing to do for 1 or 2 council members. As a 3 on a vote, gigs up for me in terms of that, right? I mean, I'll have my say, but I don't have a vote. So I just want to assure you of that. It's an interesting dynamic that's happening right now. Jack Oakley and I have been doing this for 7.5 years, taking step along step, building up the fire department to a level where we now need to know what's the next step. And hopefully that subcommittee will provide recommendations to the council that we will fully discuss in front of everybody in an open public meeting where you'll have your say, everyone will have their say, and eventually arrive at a really important decision with regard to the trajectory of the future of fire service in Lawrence Township. That's all.
Thank you, Mr. Nowinski.
We're not there yet. We're not there yet. We're getting there. Okay. Any other reports? Well, I would like to report just briefly, as was mentioned, the planning board met last night, and the planner from McManus, Miss McManus, shared with us just some of the findings from the community meetings that have been held. And I just want to thank the public for coming out and supporting the master plan and sharing their interests and their wishes with us. It's very helpful. Just to give you an idea of what was discussed, there was a survey, and in the survey, the number of responses from members of the community that responded were about 812 members submitted survey responses. There were 2 in-person sessions that we held, one at Ryder and one at the Senior Center. We had about 200 members attend the sessions. Let's see what else. In that grouping, the makeup of a lot of the demographic included about 90% homeowners that came out and shared information with us. There are long-term owners that are all about 11 plus years. And we heard from about 32% renters who participated in the master plan meetings. One area that we needed more participation in consisted of business owners, and we will have additional meetings in the fall, so hopefully that will be an opportunity for more businesses to come out and share with us some additional information. Let's see what else I can share. Big items were, people really came to Lawrence because of family, housing choices, open space, businesses. Their sense of community was really big on the list. Some of the changes, additional things that they wanted consisted of walking and biking path. Recreation was really hot, big subject. Redevelopment, more active recreation, and not to get everything right, but yeah, just hot topics for walking, biking, flooding, some environmental, open and green spaces, which we do, I think, a really good job of. So just people were asking for more of those things. Yeah. That's what have you to
Mayor,
share.
can I supplement one thing that we talked about last night was, that came to my desk today. We're gonna have a mass mailing for tax bills.
Yeah.
Until 11,800 properties. And we had the opportunity to slip in
Okay.
a sheet of paper, and I thought it would be really appropriate to do a master plan related document that we could put in to reach out to everybody, to give them information.
I like that.
Point them in the direction of where they can get more information. So we're gonna seize on that opportunity. I think it costs almost $8,000 or $9,000 to get this mailing out. So we're gonna get that envelope in a situation where it's not too heavy, where we can't slip it in and get it out there. So
That's a great idea.
yeah.
I like that. Yeah, and I think the planner, she said, for Lawrence, for the size of our community, we really had a good turnout in terms of participation, people coming out. We're looking to just improve or tweak a couple of things in the fall for the additional meetings, and also engage additional stakeholders. I think there are about 8 different categories of stakeholders that we're going to be reaching out to.
Was there any mention at the planning board about when the sort of draft would be available?
So we are aiming, our next steps are to complete the analysis. So I'm just just bits and pieces of what was shared, but there is going to be, completing the analysis is next, and we're looking, after the fall meetings, by the end of the year is when we're looking to have our draft.
Thank you.
Mhm. So it's moving along well. They also have a subcommittee that is working, double time with us. All right. Is there any written communication, Madam Clerk?
No.
Okay, with that then, if I can have a motion for us to go into executive session.
So moved.
A second?
Second.
Okay. Thank you, members of the public, for coming out tonight. We will now go into our executive session. Appreciate all of your participation.